Hey, welcome in. It is the Johnston RV Center Saturday preview presented by Champy's world famous fried chicken. He is Jim Dunaway. That's Emily Grace McWhorter. I'm Ryan Brown. As you can see behind us, we're at Jordan-Hare Stadium. There's a game here today, boys and girls. The Iron Bowl, Alabama playing for what they hope is a playoff position at some point, but they got to get past the in-state rival in a stadium that has given them problems over the years.
10-6 all time in Iron Bowls here at Jordan-Hare Stadium, and
Auburn is, yeah,
Auburn's in the lead, 10-6 all time. So they've Alabama's had very little success here, relatively speaking, to Bryant-Denny Stadium, but it's a beautiful day. I'm glad this show's finally getting a little vitamin D, man.
I know.
We're out and about. We're not in some dark room with TVs around us. We're out and about today. Get to join Emily Grace on the road where you've been all year.
I know. It's nice to have some company with me. I've made my game day friends, but you guys can't be replaced.
Don't forget the show presented by Johnston RV Center, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Always online, johnstonrvcenter.com. You guys have responded so well to everything they're doing there. They have just got a ton of previously owned RVs, still a lot of new ones as well from the Forest River Expo, a lot of used ones as well. So if you're in the market for one of those, swing by I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Always online, johnstonrvcenter.com. Also, Champy's Chicken. All the games we're going to talk about at mybookie.ag. Code next round for that 50% deposit match up to $1,000. And plays up. I think he's got 9 today at lanceslock.com, lanceslock.com. This is Rivalry Saturday. It's kind of a bittersweet day if you think about it.
It is.
Because this is one of the best days we get all season long in college football. But it also is the last regular season day we get in college football, which is always a sad time.
It's always the day that I actually watch the least amount of games on television because I'm always at the Iron Bowl. So, we will scramble to watch as much of the big game, Ohio State and Michigan, as we can. But we've got Iron Bowl duties today,
Right.
and then we miss a lot of the others. So I enjoy it. I can't. At some point, I'm going to go back and count what Iron Bowl this is for me.
It's 27 for me. I count
27?
Yeah, 27. It's number 27.
Wow.
So you're going to say mine's got to be in the 30s then.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen more than me. I would say you're 33, 34 probably.
I don't know. Are you counting when you were a kid, though,
yeah,
too?
I'm counting any game I've been to.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of them. We were watching a video that Auburn put out
it's
earlier.
excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And just some
A lot
great
of Auburn wins in that one. So that's what if you're an Auburn fan. Yeah.
Well, they were all Auburn wins.
Yeah, all
Auburn,
of them.
Auburn did in fact put it out.
All the iconic moments.
But, I was sitting there and Emily Grace like, do you remember this one? And I was just instantly naming, go
Right.
crazy Cadillac. And then the great late Rob Bramlett would say, go crazy Cadillac, go crazy. And Tillman on the reverse and that kind of stuff.
He knew it all. If there's a Jeopardy section for Iron Bowls, I think you guys would
seen
clean
enough
house.
of them.
Yeah, well, those stick out. As a guy who grew up an Alabama fan, those stick out because those were all Alabama losses, and they burn into your brain quickly.
So somebody asked me, I can't even remember what the question was, but this is just second nature to me. Like they were asking about an Iron Bowl or several Iron Bowls, and I was just running through them. I was like, okay, so Alabama won 84 and 85, Auburn won 86, 87, 88, 89, Alabama was 90, 91, 92, Auburn won 93, Alabama 94, Auburn 95, Alabama 96, Auburn 97, Alabama 98, 99, and I just started running, and they're like, oh my gosh. And I said, well, I watched them all. I mean, do you think I don't remember who won these? I mean, I've been to a lot of them and I watched them all.
Yeah, I couldn't do those as well. My favorite part of this game, though, is that, you mentioned your game day friends.
Right.
So same thing with fans. You see people of our show that we see in the chat room or that call the show, that email the show over the years. And then you see them at Jordan-Hare or at Bryant-Denny throughout the year, but then all of a sudden they're all here together.
It's a big party.
It's a big party. So we've already seen friends running by and getting ready for their tailgates here. We've got a big party over here later on with my golfing buddies' tailgates and stuff. So just a really fun day when everybody in the state sort of gets together. And I always like it when it's civil. Sometimes it becomes uncivil. It happens, but I always like it when we're all getting along, and usually that happens in the pregame.
I was driving last night, and I was listening on Sirius XM to some of the Oregon State game, and they don't call it the Civil War anymore.
Yes.
And I was like, it's civil.
Right.
I mean, I know the Civil War was a bad moment in American history, but you're literally saying it's a war that is civil.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
So would they, do they call it the uncivil war?
Well, you won't believe what they call it.
What do they call it?
The rivalry game.
Oh my goodness!
You had such a good creative game name.
Yes.
And you went from that to the rivalry.
What
game.
is
Apparently it changed to 2019 according to the over-the-top Oregon State play-by-play guy.
What is Red River Shootout now?
Red River Rivalry is what
Okay, so they're just putting rivalry in.
For me, it's Red River Shootout.
Agreed.
And the cocktail party is not the cocktail party anymore.
Why you got Bigfoot's not broke.
Well, I guess some people thought it was broke or woke or whichever way you want to go with that.
However you want to do it.
Football last night, though, speaking of that game, I thought Bo Nix, and I was just talking to a great Auburn fan earlier. Sarah Beth was running by before she jumps in the shower and goes to her tailgate, but her and her friend was running. And they stopped by.
Her friend, it was her boyfriend.
Yeah, well, I don't want to put a label on it.
Well, you just said she was about to take a shower. So I don't know what's.
I don't know what's worse.
I didn't want to do it. Well, she was jogging. I was just adding, a little color commentary.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So she's in the middle of her jog. She stops. We say hi. We talk. And she's a diehard Auburn fan. Loves Auburn. And she started talking about, I am so cheering for Bo Nix. I want him to win the Heisman. I want him to go to the playoffs. If they can win the national championship, I want it all for Bo. And I was wondering how Auburn people were reacting to that.
Yeah, it's interesting because, he's somewhere else tearing it up. And I think a lot of Auburn fans look and say, Bo Nix on this team and a Hugh Freeze offense would be a different quarterback.
Yeah, it's quarterback's game.
Yeah, it's quarterback's game. Now, Bo Nix, a healthy Bo Nix last year, and Brian Harsin might still be your coach. You could have probably won enough games that they don't fire Harsin.
Yep.
So, it cuts both ways. It's easy to play revisionist history and say, well, Hugh Freeze with Bo Nix would be fantastic. It would be. There's no guarantee you got Hugh Freeze with Bo Nix.
But to that point, though, Bo had another good game last night. What did he end up with?
367 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
One of those was rushing.
So he's the Heisman favorite right now. So
is he back in front of Jaden Daniels?
Maybe not. Maybe
not.
It's
very, very tight. But Jaden is, they're going to try to win him the Heisman tonight. It's his last game.
Right.
Yep.
And that's the advantage Dunaway Bo's going to have is he's going to get the one more game.
Against Washington.
Which could be a disadvantage
in Vegas because that'll be Michael Penix on the other side.
Yeah, and you could lose.
But Bo's going to be in New York, it looks like.
Yeah.
And he's one more good game away from possibly winning the Heisman Trophy. And his heart and his soul is in this place right here. This is where as a kid, he dreamed of playing, and he did for so many years. But now he's still playing out at Oregon, and they had that big win last night. And, we started talking, and the people on the national media are finally discussing this too. People are waiting for chaos, and it's starting to dawn on them in the conversations this weekend that maybe chaos isn't going to happen.
It could not happen. Let's not give up yet. We've still got some
We still have a whole day ahead.
We got some season left. Yeah. Blake, Auburn fan, go Bo, proud of him. I understand why he left. I do think most Auburn fans understand why he left.
I would like to hear a perspective from an Auburn fan that is not cheering Bo on, because I feel like the majority from what I've heard, it's very supportive of him. So I'd love to hear the argument as to why you're not all in on Bo.
Well, I think the fact that it was Brian Harsin helped a little bit because Auburn fans had not bought into Brian Harsin. And how could they expect Bo Nix to buy into him, whose future was on the line, when they don't buy into him and they're just coming to the games, right? So I think most Auburn fans looking like, if I'm being honest, I didn't buy into the guy either. Why would I expect Bo Nix to? So I think that's, if you step back and remove the emotion, which is very hard to do when you're talking about college football, you step back and remove the emotion, that's probably where most people fall, I would think.
Oregon looks like a playoff team. Texas last night didn't do any favors for Alabama or anybody else. They dominated Texas Tech. And I think both of those teams, guys, were on a stage where they weren't cluttered by, Saturday and all the games going on at one time. They were on a stage by themselves. And I think that only helps Oregon and it helps Texas's case, as, the committee only had 2 games to watch last night and both of them looked fantastic.
And isn't it interesting how even scheduling of games plays a factor in all of this? And you're right, Dunaway, they had an entire space just for themselves. They didn't have to worry about competing with the SEC.
Yeah, exactly. So they had that stage last night. And I don't know about you guys. Texas looks like a playoff team. Oregon looks like a playoff team. Alabama, who will play here later until today, has looked like a playoff team. Georgia obviously looks like the best team in the country. Michigan and Ohio State play each other. Both of them.
I don't think you said Washington, did you?
Both of them look like playoff teams. Washington looks like a playoff team. And Florida State, for all their problems until the injury to Jordan Travis, they have looked like a playoff team. I don't know what you do if you're this committee a little bit later on.
Well, you hope you get a little chaos that makes it easier. Alabama and Oregon and Texas have all lost a game, which makes it a little bit easier potentially. It could actually make it harder, though. The fact that Alabama lost to Texas is obviously going to factor into some decision making. I don't know. It's a tough spot for the committee because I'm with you. I think if you went 4 best teams and 4 deserving teams, they don't look alike. A lot of years you can go 4 best and 4 most deserving and you get the same 4 teams.
Exactly.
Or at least 3 out of 4. Or sometimes you've only got 2 out of 4 and you're having to dig for 2 more, right? This year you can go best and most deserving and you're probably going to get a different list.
It was a bad year for Alabama and Texas, as far as the committee is concerned, to have played each other.
head-to-head.
Yeah. I mean, in a 12-team playoff, I mean, you're looking at the top 8 and you're like, my gosh, I think any of these teams could win this thing.
Right.
That's right.
This would be a great year for a 12-teamer to start because you look genius for doing it.
Yeah.
We missed it by a year.
We did. I mean,
Seriously.
By a year.
To me,
isn't that the story of college football, though?
Yes.
It's all playing out a little too well for them to say, this is why we're doing it. This is the example.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to complain about it, now you can
Well,
say, well, look
now,
at this year.
This is what we're going to do, and we're going to make everyone happy.
Yeah. All right, Johnston RV Center brings you the show. We're about to get into the games. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. They got a ton of previously owned stuff there because you guys have been so great about going up there and supporting Johnston RV and buying from them. They need to get rid of it. The new stuff from the Forest River Expo is coming in. They got great deals, travel trailers as low as $179 a month with approved credit. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, and always online. JohnstonRVCenter.com. And whether tailgating or watching at home, Champy's Chicken is a great spot.
That's right. Right there on 119 in Alabaster, champyschicken.com. Listen, we get pictures from all over our viewing audience from Champy's in North Alabama and Tennessee and such. All great places, same great brand. Sterling does it better than any of them. In fact, the Champy's folks should come to Alabaster and see Sterling's place, see how he runs it, and then take that blueprint everywhere else. Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, Southern fried chicken. He brines it overnight. It's the juiciest chicken ever. And hand-cut chicken fingers. It is perfect for your tailgate. And I'll tell you, I'm in Roback head to toe today.
Yes.
Pants,
Wow,
golf
that is
shirt,
impressive.
cover all. So just jump in. Great gift ideas right now. Roback.com/TNR20 takes you to the website. Don't have to be a first-time person for that either. First-time buyer. You can be a person. You can be a reoccurring person and buy multiple times there. Roback.com/TNR20.
How did you celebrate your first day as a person? Well, I went to Roback. I got 20% off, too. It was a great deal.
Happy birthday.
Make sure to give us a thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that. At Next Round Live, follow us on all social media at Next Round Live. But if you would give us a thumbs up and a share wherever you are watching it, we greatly appreciate that. Either a share on Facebook or a retweet. We do appreciate that. All right, EG, hit us with some
All
games
right,
here.
so we've touched on it, the Iron Bowl. This is my first Iron Bowl. So the Tide is favored by 13.5 with a total of 49.5. I am so excited.
Well, you should be. This is it's really great. You'll have I think the best place that we play the game at now is at Jordan-Hare. They're more exciting here. As Brown always points out, usually a blowout in Tuscaloosa. So the games are here. It's intense. The atmosphere is fantastic. 2:30 game. I'm interested to I wonder, Brown, in the future if this will be a night game.
Yeah.
Night Iron Bowls could be in our future, which would be even more exciting.
I mean, you think about it. So a lot of angles you could take on that, Dunaway. So if this were next year, or if ESPN already had the rights here, do you think they would put this game at 11 to try to go head-to-head with Ohio State, Michigan? Or would they say, no, we're going to let them have that. We're going to go night. We'll just dominate the night.
I think they would probably go night in this situation with Auburn's record.
Yeah.
And with it at Jordan-Hare.
And they're at Jordan-Hare. I think they would go night. The thing I would miss about that is it would be a completely dark kickoff. What you will see here today is a beautiful time of year to be at Jordan-Hare Stadium. We'll kick at 2:30, and somewhere right around the second quarter, you'll start to look up to the sky over in this direction as we're in the east, and it'll be a beautiful orange and blue sunset. And people will be taking pictures that they'll use as their backdrops forever. It is a beautiful setting for football this time of year for this game. It'll be perfect. Now, can Hugh Freeze's team stand up? 13.5 is a big number, but that number's been dropping.
It has.
And I don't know what that means.
Well, it's not dropped. It's dropped from 15-ish to 13.5. So it is a little bit. And Furman told us on the show yesterday that the money had come in on Auburn there to drop it down. I cannot get past the stat Lance shared yesterday that 28 Iron Bowls in which Alabama is ranked and Auburn is unranked. Alabama is 27-1. Because he asked us to guess, I guessed 21-7, and I would have even said then, man, that's impressive. 21-7,
right.
27-1. Auburn has won one Iron Bowl in which they are unranked and Alabama is ranked. So you throw out a lot of numbers. That one is a little bit history is history for a reason, right? Things repeat themselves for a reason, and that one's hard to overcome.
Yeah, but I know Alabama won the game the last time Alabama was here, but they didn't control the game. They were lucky to get out of here with a victory. Auburn really won that game, except for the last 55 seconds. And that was a very bad Auburn team. 2017, that was a really good Alabama team, right? They went on to win the national championship, but they lost the game here in the Iron Bowl. So this place makes it crazy. And to the person, no matter who you talk to, Alabama or Auburn fan, when they always start talking about this game today, the first thing they bring up is, but we're playing it at Jordan-Hare Stadium. So that's the wild card. That's the dice roll.
I think Alabama fans probably roll their eyes when you say that, but the truth is what we always say: look at the games at Bryant-Denny. What normally happens?
Blowout.
Look at the games here. What normally happens?
It's either a loss or it's close.
Closer than you would have thought, right? And you can't just say, well, every other year Auburn's got a good enough team to play with Alabama. Well, every other year the game is here, and that is the one factor that you would have to say is the most meaningful factor in that scenario.
I'm going to ask a dumb question here, and
it won't be the first time.
Jim. It will not.
Yeah.
Is there a chance this is the only stadium in the SEC that Alabama has a losing record in?
I did say that the other day, that Alabama is now 6-10 in 16 games here. I would doubt there's anywhere else in the world that they've got a losing record. I mean, most stadiums.
Now, I know some one-offs and games yet like South Bend and stuff, but in the SEC.
Yeah. No, I think they've got a winning record every now. Texas has an all-time winning record over Alabama. I don't know how many of those are in Austin.
Yeah, but
I know Alabama won their last trip to Austin.
But that's not an SEC.
Well, it's about to be.
It is, but I'm going SEC games right now of SEC games that have been played in those stadiums.
I can't think of another place where Alabama would have a losing record.
Yeah, I mean, you would go Tennessee, maybe.
No, I don't think so.
But Alabama's won a lot of games.
They won a lot of games in that series.
And usually that series doesn't matter whether it's home or away.
And I'm even trying to think of stadiums Alabama doesn't go to very often, like South Carolina and Kentucky. They've never lost in those places, really. They've lost one time at Kentucky.
One time at South Carolina.
One time at South Carolina. Alabama doesn't go to Florida a lot.
Did they lose another time at South Carolina? Did Lou Holtz beat them?
Yeah, I think they've lost twice at South Carolina, but they've gone up there more than 4 times. So at worst, it's 2-2. I can't think of another place where they would have a losing record. No.
Yeah, I mean, somebody knows the answer to that in the chat room, so let us know.
Is there another atmosphere in college football in the sense of you really roll the dice going to the stadium like Jordan-Hare?
Well, yeah, there's a few. I think that's what makes rivalry weekend so good. Like if Oregon had been playing at Oregon State last night,
different game.
I think that would have been a different game.
Yeah.
Corvallis, not that Auburn and Corvallis are a lot alike, but you've seen weird things happen in Corvallis over the years, and there's a few places.
But Ohio
like
State,
that.
Michigan is a hotly contested rivalry. I don't think it's played any differently in Ann Arbor or Columbus.
I don't think so either. It's not like.
Yeah.
I mean, you get some unique places, Jordan-Hare being one of those, and I think Corvallis or God help me, Brownie, a couple of others. If you were playing at that place, you'll go, okay, it's different when it's played there.
I do think in the future, Texas A&M, I think used to it was affected by that. When they revive that one, it probably will be. But
I don't know enough about Florida State, Florida. I know that, but
it's a game I never watch.
But those are two really good home field advantages.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech, it doesn't matter that much. South Carolina, Clemson. I mean, those are good home field advantages, but it doesn't seem like
it's not like this.
Yeah. No. I mean, this is where, good team to great team, bad team to average team, and it ends up being equal.
Right.
Because of the atmosphere and the great fans.
Great equalizer.
It's a great equalizer, yeah.
Hey, don't forget to go to the store as well. Nextround.store, nextround.store. Black Friday 2023 is the code there. I am told by our shipping department the hoodies are already running low. So if you want a hoodie, you best get on it right now. The new hoodies.
I wanted a hoodie.
I think you need to get on that.
But I was told to wait.
The Memorial Dunaway hoodie department is almost out of hoodies, and so you need to jump on that one and get what you can.
Sure, you all got one, right?
Nextround.store.
I got a seafoam one.
Code Black Friday 2023. Black Friday 2023. I should have mentioned this at the outside. Lance is traveling for Thanksgiving. He's out of town with family for Thanksgiving, so he will be back with us next week in Atlanta. So that's where Lance is. So I apologize for not telling you where a member of the show is. He is traveling out of town for Thanksgiving, so he is not here with us in Auburn. But we got
I'm here
instead. You're a good
I'm
Lance.
Here. Thank
You're
you. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. What do we got
Okay.
next?
We were just talking about Texas A&M. So let's talk about Texas A&M at LSU. 11 o'clock on ESPN. The Tigers are favored by 13 with a total of 66.5. And I did see this morning that A&M wide receiver Evan Stewart did not travel.
Yeah, I think you're probably going to have a lot of guys that are at least thinking about tapping out. For
you've heard the buzz, right? Evan Stewart's a portal guy.
Yep.
Right.
And the leading candidate, according to reports, is Alabama. Could be getting Evan Stewart.
That'd be a heck of a get. That guy can play.
Not in time for today or next week. But
that's what Alabama's
What's the turnaround time on that?
Evan Stewart's in the mix at Alabama. I think Georgia, and there was one other program, maybe Texas. No, it wasn't Texas, because I think that stuck out. It wasn't Texas. Maybe LSU.
I think Jaden Daniels in the Heisman hunt is the thing to watch here tonight, because LSU showed us against Georgia State when Jaden Daniels played deep into the fourth quarter. And a game they were up 56-14 in. they are going to try everything they can to win him the Heisman. So I think that is really the only thing to me of interest in this game is, what does Jaden Daniels do in terms of the Heisman? This is a Texas A&M team where this coaching staff is going to be out. This team is going nowhere. You do wonder about their engagement in the game even. And LSU is going to be engaged because their coaching staff's trying to win a guy a Heisman, and that team will get behind that. What?
Oh, this guy was about to walk in front. Hey, man, how are you? He was walking intentionally this way, and I was like, oh.
He's got a tiger on his head.
I know. He's on his way to SEC Nation.
Yeah.
Students getting ready. They're lining up here. I always think this is pretty cool. The student section lines up here quickly, and they start doing their body paint right here.
Yeah.
If we had a second camera, that's what we'd show you.
Right.
How would you like to be that one guy who is shirtless, painting the other shirtless guys the body paint?
I would
there?
not
Not
like
for
that
me.
one bit.
Yeah. I think
I would like less being the guy getting painted though.
I think I would keep my shirt on
Yeah.
until it was time to paint my body there. I agree with you, Jaden Daniels, on that one. The game, other than this one that I'm most interested in, though, is Ohio State at Michigan.
Of
right?
course.
It's got playoff implications. And my biggest question to you, EG, is: do you think the loser of that game has a path to the playoffs? Because I don't think they do.
I don't think they do. I think what we've already talked about. There's too many other options that you can default with, and I don't think in a head-to-head like this rivalry week that you give them the in my opinion.
That's right. In fact, we can debate Georgia later on. I don't know if Ohio State's got better credentials than Michigan does if they lose, right? Michigan, if they lose, they've got nothing really to stand on, right?
No, Michigan will not have anything.
I mean, they played a terrible schedule. Their best win, if they lose this game, will be Penn State. I mean, that's all. That's probably, I don't have it in front of me here, but it's probably their only top 25 win when all is said and done. I can't think of another one that would be. I don't see how you would get in. I mean, they have looked dominant. They have looked the part of a playoff team. But at some point, you can't just look the part. You got to have some sort of evidence to go with it in the court of law, right? And in the court of law, you look at that and you say, I'm putting them in on one game. They went to Penn State and beat a team that never beats top 10 teams ever. So, I mean, I'm not trying to diminish that win. I'm just saying if I'm in the committee room, all right, sell me on Michigan. Okay, well, Michigan went to Penn State. Okay, well, Penn State never beats top 10 teams. Give me one more.
Yeah.
And I would say, okay, they won at Maryland.
Yeah,
that'd be my next.
Barely.
Yeah, barely won at Maryland.
And we're all excited to be here. But if there was one other place you'd rather be today, it'd be Ann Arbor, right?
Right. Yeah, I did say that. But it's a little chilly for me because me and Dunaway walking in, we were, I think we were embarrassing Brown with our teeth chattering and I fully bundled up.
I thought we were going to watch the North Dakota State game that's always played in the snow.
Yeah,
it was
the way these two are acting.
But now I'm worried about the sunscreen on my dome. Now,
yeah.
Feels great
Can't
out
win.
here. 64 and sunny for the game here today.
Well, you're learning. You can't win with this guy. Too cold coming in. Now he's too hot.
64 and sunny, so it'll be perfect here. But back to the Ohio State Michigan game. Ryan Day, I was watching interviews with them getting off the bus in Ann Arbor last night. And he wasn't shying away from it. And Klatt said this on our show yesterday, that between the fans, the coaching staff, almost to the media, this is the most intense, nastiest they can remember the Ohio State-Michigan game being.
Yeah, and it's obviously for the off-the-field situation where Ohio State feels like Michigan has cheated, and Michigan feels like Ohio State has been in the middle of trying to get them popped for cheating, right?
Right.
And so you've got that conflict off the field. It's always a heated rivalry on the field, but when you have that off-field conflict, it reminds me a little bit of 2010 in this game. And, the whole Cam Newton situation, there was just a lot of bad blood in the crowd that day. It was kind of a I don't know. It was just it was a vicious feeling in the crowd that day.
And it continued for a while.
Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of what you'll get for this game today. NH3425 asked us thoughts on Ryan Day being Texas A&M's next head coach.
I was actually NH3245 was headed in that direction too.
Yeah. I mean, that's a rumor that will not go away. And used to, you would just blow those things off. I don't discount any rumors anymore.
No.
I don't either. But a guy who is in the coaching industry was asking me about that last night, high school. But he deals with a lot of coaches. He's dealt with the Jimbo coaching staff before. And he was like, I just don't picture Ryan Day fitting in
at Texas A&M.
No.
And I said, well, why would you leave Ohio State for Texas A&M? Because Ohio State has all the money you need. They've got all the budget. They got everything you need.
You've actually played for championships there.
Yeah, you're not, and your recruiting is good. I mean, I know it's easier to recruit in the South, but Ohio State doesn't have a problem recruiting. There is not one thing You can
that
sell me
A&M has that Ohio State doesn't.
Yeah.
No, I'm with Jim on that, and it would be a weird move, but we've seen weird moves before. We've seen moves that come out of nowhere before. I don't think. I mean, I look at LSU and say it's a better job than Notre Dame, but I think most of the country says, "What does Brian Kelly have at LSU? Doesn't have at Notre Dame." I'm with you. I'm just saying most of the country looks at that and says he was at Notre Dame. I mean, that's a premier job. Why would you go to LSU and bang your head against the SEC wall every year, right? At Notre Dame, you control your schedule. You got a path to the national championship every year.
He instantly said it was because we couldn't get the players we were recruiting in academically.
Yeah.
I can get anybody I want here at LSU.
And that's what I'm saying. Most people don't look at that stuff. So there could be something I'm missing about Ohio State.
Now,
seems like a really good job to have.
If Ohio State drops, this will be their third loss in a row.
And maybe you get tired of hearing that I've won what was it said about his record against the other Big Ten, Brownie?
It's whatever and I can't remember what the whatever is.
I think it was 40-0 against the rest of the Big Ten.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So
he never loses games.
You're gonna get rid of me for only losing to Michigan.
And that's the thing about Ryan Day. If you go back and look at his losses, EG, he's lost either to a college playoff team or in the college playoff, except for that one Oregon game in Columbus. And that was a 10-win Oregon team that I think went to the Rose Bowl that year. I mean, he loses to good football teams. That's all he does. He doesn't. I mean, Ryan Day has never played a game where they just get surprised and lose a game. He loses to good football teams, or he beats everybody he plays. Either one.
In your short broadcasting career, that one day will be long. Who's the 5 best high school college coaches right now?
5 best?
You don't have to name them. Who's coaching right now? Who's in the game right now?
Am I saying them out loud, or am I just thinking
in your head?
Okay.
And now, is Ryan Day one of those 5? He is for me.
I mean, he's 5. Number 5.
Would you put him in front of Harbaugh, Jim?
Probably.
It's a hard argument right now.
It is, but I probably would. Harbaugh would probably be 6 with me. The question would be, is Dabo still in my 5? He is. He is.
He's eating all those national championships.
Right.
He is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's a tough question, but and according to, it's moving so fast here. NH2425 follows up and says it was on 3. Reporting A&M, that's who they got their eyes on is Ryan Day. So not necessarily a rumor. A&M, and look, I'm sure they've got interest. The question will be, does Ryan Day? According to our buddy Brett, that was the wrong Brett. Dan Mullen reportedly interviewing for the Syracuse job.
I did see that as well.
Yeah.
Now Dan Mullen's from that part of the country.
He is.
Wow, that's
it's a bad job, man.
That's a tough job.
But I don't think people are beating his door down to come coach for them, are they?
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah. Certainly doesn't.
Apparently, Mississippi State wasn't. I mean, you guys are trying to sell me on him going back to Mississippi State. I really feel like John Summerall may get a shot at that.
Good for him. I like John Summerall.
After their game today against Southern Miss.
Yeah. John Summerall running the best Sun Belt program right now.
I can't argue.
I
can't argue with that.
I was shocked you said that.
It's probably it's been Appalachian State.
Yeah,
I was just saying that too.
Georgia Southern hasn't been.
I was trying to bother old Gatto right here.
I thought I was the John Summerall guy in the Sun Belt. I thought you were a Raising Cane guy.
Well, my daughter and my money go to South Alabama, so I got to go for Cane.
Hey, did you see
on the Cane train? They sell the Cane train shirts there.
Speaking of Raising Cane, the chicken finger guy that owns Raising Canes, playing off the Cane Womack. I saw the other day his reported net worth is $7.6 billion.
Oh, I believe it.
Well, he doesn't franchise them out. He owns them all. Yeah. And probably owns the land they're on too, if I had to guess. So,
smart man.
Yeah. No. He's done well for himself.
So he's a big LSU booster, though, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think he went to Georgia.
Yeah, because he did. Yeah, he went to Georgia.
Yeah, I think he went to Georgia, but he is a big LSU guy.
Is he? So
I think so. Well, they're based. I mean, they're out of Louisiana.
I was just trying to trying to tap into that NIL money.
Oh, seriously?
At $7.6 billion. Yeah. I'd want to, if I was Ryan Day, I'd want to coach at whatever school he wanted me to coach at. I'd be friends with that guy.
I'll be the Canes guy.
Yeah, we'll go. Hey, I'll coach Southern Miss if you're a Southern Miss fan.
I wish we had one of those in Statesboro. Raising Canes is but we founded Zaxby's actually.
That's right.
Speaking of chicken fingers,
you did?
Yeah,
it came out of Statesboro.
Statesboro, Georgia.
Until you tried the Champy's,
Champy's better than them all.
I've got to get Champy's chicken in you at some point.
No, I agree. I just wanted to throw it out there that we do have a chicken finger franchise.
Yeah.
Stephen asks, what's the difference between Day and Lincoln Riley? The biggest difference is Lincoln Riley will lose games to people he's not supposed to. Day never really does.
Has never done that.
They've both gone to the playoffs and have both left early. Day's actually coached for a national championship, something Riley hasn't done.
2020.
So those are big differences, I would say.
Yeah, I think Ryan Day's a better coach than Lincoln Riley. in my
If
opinion.
I were starting a program today, I think I'd go Ryan Day over Riley. I think at least Ryan Day has shown a commitment to both sides of the football, and Lincoln Riley never has, and it's burned in time and time again.
Well, I will give the line on that. It's Michigan is favored by 3.5 with a total of 46.
I've talked myself into Ohio State on this one, Dunaway. I've talked myself into Ohio State.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I think Ohio State. I'm worried about J.J. McCarthy. Don't know if he's hurt. Don't know if they're just playing around him. I saw last night after what was the late game last night? It was Oregon State. I'm trying to remember who was in studio that I was watching. And they were oh, no. I know what it is. I flipped past to see the final score of that disastrous Penn State-Michigan State game. 41-0, by the way. And Blackledge was talking. And I have not seen enough of Blackledge this year because he went to that NBC Prime Big Ten game.
Bad games, great graphics.
Okay. Bad games, great graphics. So I stayed to watch some of Blackledge, and he said he thinks J.J. McCarthy's issue is not having Harbaugh on the sideline. He's like, I'm just watching. Yeah, I'm just watching because I think he and Harbaugh have such a good
chemistry, rapport.
Such a good rapport. He can almost look to the sidelines and know what Harbaugh wants him to do. He says, I really think his play's been affected by not having Harbaugh there. If Blackledge is right about that, who's not on the sideline today?
Harbaugh.
Yeah. So
security blanket. Yeah, it's a little security blanket. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting that Blackledge said that. I haven't really heard anybody make that suggestion that specific connection there is missing. Yeah.
After
McCarthy's not playing the same.
After Klatt reported, hinted that it may be an ankle on our show, I saw other people throughout the day talking about his ankle may be a problem. That's what he's dealing with. And that's why they chose to run the ball. He heard it in the Penn State game.
So they were very run heavy.
And that's why they went run heavy after that. It's an interesting game, but I agree with you, Brown. I like the Ohio State receivers against the Michigan secondary. I don't think Michigan's defensive line is as good as it's been the last 2 years. I think Travion Henderson being back healthy, Abuka being back healthy. I just think Ohio State's healthier than Michigan is right now. Left tackle, and I think left tackle number 2, both hurt for Michigan. Receivers coming back, but McCarthy's banged up. I just think Ohio State's a healthier team. I agree with you. I'm going to go Buckeyes on the road today.
I saw, excuse me, Brian.
No.
Well, this is a little off topic, but I saw this comment, and someone said it'd be completely not possible. But how funny would it be to have Harbaugh live streamed on the Jumbotron watching?
I think actually Fox tried to sell him on the idea of having a live camera on him. Wow. Not necessarily a live camera, but a camera they could use for reaction shots, and he shot it down.
Yeah,
really?
I think Klatt said that not with us, but in another interview, that Jenny Dell had tried to sell him on the idea. Jenny Dell herself tried to sell. Is it Jenny Dell?
Jenny Dell she'll be here today.
Yeah. No, it's the All-American girl, Jenny.
Whatever her name is.
Jen Hale?
No. Anyway, it's irrelevant.
It's with Klatt.
All-American
The All-America girl tried to sell him on that idea, and he would not go for it. Just to set a camera up in the hotel
I think that'd be
for the Maryland game. It was the Maryland game, and just get his reactions, and he would not go for it. But it would be funny. You're right. Hey, don't forget that Jenny Taft.
Jenny Taft.
I say
thanks, Troy.
I say the All-American girl all the time. Jenny Taft, the All-American girl. She's the best.
By the way, it is the Johnston RV Center Saturday preview presented by Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Johnston RV Center, world famous as well, right there on I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. They got a lot of great used inventory. You guys have responded so well to what we talk about with Johnston RV. They're just loaded up with used stuff. They got to get it out of there so they can make room for the new stuff coming from the Forest River Expo. You can help by going and shopping up there and seeing what you like. Travel trailers as low as $179 a month. Johnston RV Center, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, and always online at johnstonrvcenter.com. Also, Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken.
Yeah, Champy's Chicken, where it's 100% lean, not 92% lean. I think that's an odd brag.
What,
I think
92% lean.
It's not 93%. It's 92% lean there.
Yeah, we're almost lean.
It works out really good. So I appreciate the folks at Champy's Chicken. They've been with us since we started this. They were, I think, technically our second sponsor, Brownie. Champy'sChicken.com. Our friends at Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. What's next, EG?
All right, let's head to Florida State at Florida, 6 o'clock on ESPN. The Seminoles are favored by 6.5 with a total of 50, and the Noles have not won in Gainesville since 2017.
Yeah, this is all about seeing what Florida State looks like with their second-string quarterback. Even if they beat Florida today, with Florida's second-string quarterback, Max Brown. If they don't look like the same team, if they don't look playoff worthy, then it becomes a problem for Florida State. Then they're not the team that they're ranked in the top 5 where they are right now. So that's what I'm watching in this game. Not so much the outcome, just what does Florida State look like.
Okay.
Yeah, I've liked Florida in this game for a couple of weeks now for a couple of reasons. When Jordan Travis went out, it made me like him even more. And then I turn on the primetime game and I see Graham Mertz go out. So that kind of hurts him. Max Brown, I think, is an interesting quarterback. You got 2 guys you don't have a whole lot of film on for these defensive coordinators to try to scheme for. I think the moment might get a little big for Florida State here, knowing what is on the line. Florida playing with kind of house money here. I kind of like Florida in this spot. I think Florida actually pulls the upset and wins it outright.
All righty. Let's cruise on to South Carolina at Clemson, 6:30 on SEC Network. Clemson is favored by 7.5 with a total of 49.
They're unbeaten since Tyler from Spartanburg. Tyler.
Do you guys think that he was paid off?
A lot of people think it was an inside job. I'm not sure Dabo's that good an actor, though. That's my problem with it.
I don't know. It was just so perfect.
But I like Clemson again today. I think they got the better roster, and for whatever reason, Spencer Rattler's played great. I just like Clemson today in that contest.
Yep.
He was looking for someone. I don't know who he is. Information booth. You know where SEC Nation is? Dunaway by chance. Have you figured that out yet?
Yeah, for those that don't know, SEC Nation's down at the green area down here.
That gentleman was looking for someone. I don't know who he is.
I mean, we have a very modest setup on this thing.
But I think it's pretty obvious that
we are.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the fans who thought we were SEC Nation.
That's right. I know.
That was a compliment.
I know it's a nice setup. It's probably not ESPN nice. But,
Laura Rutledge. Jordan Rogers. I'm Tim Tebow.
Duh. Yeah. That is exactly where I would have placed Timothy.
Almost with Marty on him and said, "What's up, brother? How you doing?" Man, I'm finer than a tick on a hoon's ass.
I'm Ryan McGee.
Yeah. Hey, so yeah, I think Florida's going to win this game outright. To summarize, before the gentleman started asking me for directions,
I thought he was pulling the plug on this.
No, I didn't know what he was doing. He was just kind of standing there lingering.
He had been there a minute.
He had been, and I'm like, well, we got 20, 30 more minutes on the show here. I don't want him standing there staring at me the whole time, so I'm just going to go ahead and bite the bullet and ask what he wants. And he's like, "Hey, do you know where so-and-so? He's looking for somebody."
Zach somebody.
Zach somebody.
Zach Berry.
I have no idea who the name is.
Now, I want to ask all this before we keep going. What has been what are you laughing at?
Before we keep going.
Keep going. Keep chugging along.
I want to ask you this before we keep going. You made fun of me, the human.
What did I make?
First day of being a human.
You're saying first day of being a human to shop at. Never mind. Okay. Yeah. What is your favorite rivalry memory?
From this game or just overall?
Just overall. I know I'm putting you on the spot, so take a second.
From this game, boy, it's hard from this game. I cannot narrow it down to one without pissing somebody off, obviously, but I really can't narrow it down to one. Selfishly, 1984 is a historical game because Alabama pulled a big upset, but it was actually my first Iron Bowl.
I think it was mine too. I was trying to think which one was Van Tiffin's kick.
That was 85.
84 was
wrong way bow.
Wrong way bow when McGinty missed the kicks.
Yep.
That was my first one.
Was it really? That's cool. So my dad bought. My brother was with a friend of his, and they sat in 2 seats in the upper deck at Old Legion Field. And my dad bought me and him 2 tickets, and we sat in the end zone. The coolest thing was, and this was a big deal back then, the next day I was in the end zone where McGinty missed the kick, I think. And there was something. Anyway, I was on the Pat Dye show. Like, they zoomed into the crowd, and like as big as I could be, I was on the Pat Dye show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, everybody was like, "I saw you on the Pat Dye show." I mean, it was that close of a shot, and I had no clue I was on, obviously.
Were you upset?
I wasn't upset. I love being on TV.
No. I mean, was it one?
No.
Were you like Surrender Cobra?
I was a little kid. I mean, 84. I was only 8 years old.
Oh, how about that?
It was just me kind of watching the game with my dad.
I was there with
my wife.
I was a young college kid with a girl that had tickets.
So that one's amazing. That little kid thinks he's holding his sign up on the show.
Oh, bless his heart.
Well,
it's not us, buddy.
Technically, he is.
Yeah. Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah, it's just not the show he thinks he's on.
I mean, I was standing
Hey, but you know what?
Right.
It'll be the great commercial 30 years from now when we're doing this show. 30 years from now, we're a huge success with a big crowd. He'll be the kid like that Nebraska commercial.
I pulled the sign up.
First time I wanted to say hi to people, and I had a sign. And then Lunsford would edit a video that says signs everywhere, signs.
Hit that note. That was good.
I was, but I mean, standing in this stadium watching the 09 drive by Alabama, the kick six, the overtime game a couple of years ago. The comeback at Bryant-Denny Stadium was incredible. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It'd be impossible to narrow it down in this game.
But you always kid me about how negative I am on the comeback game. What was it, 24-3 at the half? 24-3 at the half.
No, I think they had scored right before the half. I think it's 24-7. I could be wrong.
I think it was 24-3.
Okay, whatever
it was Alabama by a lot. And Abby Chen, who's now sidelined with the Celtics broadcast, is sitting next to me in the press box. And I was the host of the Saban show, so she had covered Auburn for our TV station all season long. And she was really excited about, the SEC championship and getting to the national championship. And she leaned over and she was like, crap, it's over with. I thought they would go undefeated. And I literally said, oh, it's not over with yet. It's not over with yet. They've got Cam Newton. And she's like, Jim, it's been a domination. It's 24-3. It's been, they're not even sniffing the end zone. It's over with. And I was like, I don't think so. Then I got up and got a hot dog, popcorn, some Cracker Jacks, and sat back down and watched the comeback or the comeback.
Other rivalry? I don't know, EG. That'd be a tough one to ask. I'd have to think about that one for a moment.
Okay. Well, y'all get back to me.
The problem is most good rivalries I miss because I'm here.
Yeah,
which is
that
not a
is
problem.
true.
I'd rather be here than at home watching those.
Oh, I thought we were just talking Iron Bowl because
No,
84 was my first one, but 85 was my favorite memory because it was Van Tiffin's kick. And I wasn't working yet, so I was just a fan. And I remember I was sitting like upper deck at Old Legion Field back when it had a deck. And I think I was row 4 or 5 in the upper deck. And he made that kick, and I wanted to rush the field, but I was in the upper deck. Couldn't rush the field. And
that would have been a bad idea.
Then I learned very quickly Alabama fans don't rush the field. It was a faux pas. I would have been the guy
jumping out of the upper deck.
I'd have been the guy dipping my cornbread in the soup at a fancy restaurant or something.
Yeah. It's tough on the other rivalries. I just don't see enough of them.
Yeah.
I like Texas, Oklahoma, but it's not on this day.
The rivalry.
Yeah.
And growing up for us, or at least growing up for me, Florida State, Miami was the biggest rivalry in the country. That was the most important game played every year. And I mean, that's got a ton of, most of them unfortunate Florida State moments, but it's got a ton of memories.
But in the 80s, Brown, Florida State, Miami, and into the early 90s, but really the 80s, I'd watch that game and I would be like, God, I really wish Alabama played football like those guys play. I mean, it was like watching two professional teams. And then when Saban got there, eventually Alabama was that team that everybody was like, oh, they've got the best talent. That's the game. That's the team I want to be like. Yep.
I like it.
Period.
End of Dunaway's thought.
And see.
That's a good time to tell you. JohnstonRVCenter.com Saturday preview. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur for Johnston RV Center. And JohnstonRVCenter.com. Always remember MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign in at MyBookie.ag. You make that initial deposit. They give you a 50% bonus up to $1,000. 50% deposit match up to $1,000. Today's games or any games. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag. Code next round. MyBookie.ag. Code next round. All the games at Lance'sLock.com. I think he's got 9 up today, if I'm not mistaken. Lance'sLock.com, daily, weekly, monthly, or season-long packages at Lance'sLock.com. And don't forget, NextRound.store. NextRound.store, Black Friday 2023. Dunaway's hoodies are almost gone, man.
Almost.
So keep Dunaway without a hoodie. Go buy them all.
Get them while you can.
That's right. Buy them while you can.
For
Hoodies
Dunaway.
are almost gone.
Buy them all so that I don't get one.
Yeah.
Black Friday 2023. Buy one, get the next item 50% off. Anything over $100, we're taking care of the shipping for you. Any order over $100. So NextRound.store, Black Friday 2023 is the code to buy one, get one 50% off and free shipping of anything over $100.
When this is done, are we going to try to sneak into Acre again
That's
for
good by me.
appetizer?
Oh, yes.
Yes, I think EG's
It's
on board.
so nice having you guys here.
We may have to wait in line.
Okay.
It's
this is over at 10 o'clock. I don't know if you know that. I don't think they open till 11.
They open at 11.
I think that's right.
Remember last time we got there like at 10:20 and there was a line already?
I don't remember that. No, I remember us just sitting at the bar watching Ohio State, Michigan in the snow.
You're
like an old married couple.
I know.
You only remember the good stuff. I remember the bad stuff.
Yeah, that is established. That's well established.
Yeah. Remember
All
the
right.
bacon wasn't cooked very well?
No, I remember
Oh.
it being perfect.
It was perfect.
Yeah, that right there is the
That's
the
the stuff.
difference.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we like our bacon very different. I like
We
mine
do.
crunchy. He likes his
Limp.
limp.
Okay, I'm
Not
gonna
my
go. I'm
favorite.
only Dunaway on that one. I can't do the soggy bacon.
You can be wrong all you want, EG.
Okay.
It's not a problem.
All right. Okay, last game that we've got Kentucky at Louisville, 11 a.m. Louisville is favored by 7.5.
Yeah, this is. I think Star Talk could be a disastrous day for the ACC. I think Kentucky also wins this game outright. And if you lose Louisville, even though they don't really have a shot at the college football playoff, still, this is a team that's in the mix every week. They're popping up in that top 10. And more importantly for them, Florida State might need all the help they can get. They need Louisville to be ranked as high as they can. So that's why even just Louisville losing could be a disastrous day for the ACC, because if Florida State needs a bump on championship Saturday, they need Louisville to be at least viewed in that group of teams as a top 10 team, even if realistically, if they're not. And I don't believe they are, which is why I think Kentucky wins this game.
No, that'd be fantastic. And boy, if you want to hurt Florida State's chances, South Carolina win over Clemson would knock Clemson back out of the top 25 too. So that game is not on my radar today. But
Let's part the Red Sea for this cute dog right here.
it is a beautiful
How about
dog.
EG is? She'll turn her head for a dog.
I will.
And a good pair of boots.
A
Yes.
good pair of boots. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Is that going to do it?
Yeah, that's going to do it.
Done with them all?
Done with them
Iron
all.
Bowl coming up 2:30. We'll have some reaction post game.
Let's talk
Not our normal post game. We may try to go live for a minute or two, but
Let me get some quick reaction. You guys on the Iron Bowl. Ready?
I was just gonna say real quick, EG and me and Dunaway gonna have some locker room reactions,
Yeah.
some coaches' reaction. We'll give you our reaction. So make sure you set your alerts on YouTube at Next Round Live. Follow us on all our social media at Next Round Live, where you'll get all of that. Jim, I think you wanted to get some Iron
Quick-
Bowl thoughts.
Jalen Milroe, first start as in the Iron Bowl. It's his first start.
Normally, what would happen here is he gets started a little bit slow, incomplete passes, delay a game, false starts. The offense at times has started slow here for Alabama. I think the thing that is encouraging if you're an Alabama fan about this team and their recent improved play is they've started their offense early now. You think back to the Texas A&M game, the Ole Miss game,
Yeah.
the Tennessee game. It took that offense a while to get going. Once it got going, it was okay. Took it a while to get going. Never really got going at all in the Texas game. So those are some of your bigger games this year. You look at LSU on the throttle early, right? You look at Kentucky on the road, on the throttle early. I know Chattanooga's a throwaway team, but it's easy to check out mentally.
For
They
sure.
didn't do that. So recently, over the last month, they've been on the throttle early, and that's what you have to do in a game like this. You can't let the crowd impact you. If you get on that throttle early, you take the crowd out of it a little bit.
Best kicking game maybe in the all season long. Will Reichert and Alex McPherson,
Right.
who I think hit 18 consecutive field goals for Auburn. Will's had a bump in the road here, but I think this is two of the best kickers you get in the game down here in this contest today. And then you've got, I think, what will decide the game: Auburn's pass rush against Alabama's protection. You've seen Auburn more than I have this year in person.
I have.
What do you think about that defense? Until last week against Mexico State, I thought it was pretty good.
Thoughts exactly. I thought that it was solid, but from what I have seen is the first 20 minutes of this game is going to decide a lot. I think if Alabama comes out and Auburn gets a big stop to start things off, I don't think that will happen based on how well Jalen Milroe is playing. And like we said, how the offense is churning and plugging along. But I think if Auburn survives that first 20 minutes and the defense wakes up and is there, is present, and has no remnants of last week, there's a chance. But I go back to Jalen Milroe is playing his best football, and I do not think Peyton Thorne is in that same conversation.
Yeah, and that's the thing I would say. I think Alabama is certainly playing their best football of the season. Auburn had been, but it's hard to say they are after last Saturday,
Yeah.
And you watch Arkansas, we put a lot of stock in the way they played against Arkansas, but you watch Arkansas yesterday, that is a broken football team.
Yep.
So I do now, as I've got the ability to look back on it and say, did we put a little too much into what they did at Arkansas? Maybe we did.
Well, and the team themselves, Eugene Asante said that they did put too much stock into how they played against Arkansas, and the noise infiltrated the locker room. That's concerning. Especially then you have Coach Freeze on Monday saying that the fog is still there, Iron Bowl week. And I think that's something that we can't really overlook, that Auburn's team let the noise affect them based on how they played against Arkansas. And you can't do that coming off a loss like New Mexico State coming into Alabama.
But it's such a every Saturday thing. I'll just go back to the last time Alabama was in this place. Bryce Young had to put together an unbelievable 55-second drive.
Right.
They win the game. Next week, they're off to Georgia to play the Bulldogs in the SEC championship.
It looked overmatched.
You had no chance of winning this game when you left here, and you get out there and you end up beating Georgia the last time they lost a football game.
Yeah, it's a wild sport, man.
Yeah. Saturday to Saturday is so different. And I expect Auburn to play so much better today.
I do too.
Than they did last week.
I think they will. I don't think that's even a question. I think that this game and I think for Auburn, they've played to their opponent except for Arkansas. I think you saw that in Georgia. They played up to Georgia's standard. That was the best game. Yep. And then they fell. And I don't want to say that New Mexico State is a bad team. They're not. They're a solid team. But you could see that Auburn didn't take them seriously.
That's right. And you know, point spread's 13.5 today. Auburn lost by 21 to New Mexico State, but the point spread is 13.5. Yeah. So even Vegas thinks it's going to be tougher than New Mexico State, Auburn.
And Jacksonville State's a 3-point favorite on the road at New Mexico State. Weird game that we love in this state. All right, 2:30 CBS kick for the Iron Bowl. Final CBS Iron Bowl, perhaps of all time. We'll never see this game on CBS again. I don't know too many people to shed tears at that, but it is what it is.
I'll miss a 2:30 kick, though.
Well, you may get a lot of it. You never know. ESPN might do that.
You may.
Yeah. We'll have to see. That'll be next year, but this year's Iron Bowl is kicking off in just a little while right here behind us at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Let's thank Champy's world famous fried chicken. Sterling in the game there.
Right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. It's a destination place for lunch or dinner. Open today. You can watch the games there. They got a nice bar set up, TV set up there. Enjoy a good cocktail, and Sterling and his crew will take care of you. You can go by and swing by and pick up a to-go-order, go back and watch the game, and always at your tailgates or office parties or Christmas parties, you can get Champy's Chicken, champyschicken.com.
Yeah, and thank you to Johnston RV Center, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, always online, johnstonrvcenter.com. Forest River Expo stuff is starting to show up there, so they have got to get rid of a bunch of previously owned. They will do it for you right there at Johnston RV Center, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, always online, johnstonrvcenter.com. Hit lanceslot.com for the plays today. Play them at mybookie.ag, code next round to get that 50% sign-on match up to $1,000. Thank you to the fine folks at Auburn for hosting us here today. We greatly appreciate their hospitality and look forward to seeing a great game.
Look at how the tailgates filled up.
I know.
Yep. Starting to get a little game buzz here.
Look, the paint's drying over
here.
Oh.
Paint's starting to dry on the old students behind us.
I mean, look at the show you're getting. I bet your college kids with their shirts off. How lucky are you?
Yeah.
It's kind of an awkward statement.
Yeah,
here,
it is.
Kids with their shirts off.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for joining us on the Johnston RV Center Saturday preview. Everybody enjoy the game. We'll see you post-game from Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Let's get some food.